Hi, hello.
Hi, Dean. How are you?
I'm great. How you doing?
I'm doing great. So to start, when you have a show like Creature Commandos and you get to kind of show, I like the Suicide Squad and all these things where you get to show, I don't want to call them villains because some of them aren't
Right.
necessarily evil. When you get
Right.
to see the rogues gallery in this way, it's really fun to kind of explore. But for you as a creative, how much fun is it to kind of give humanity to these characters that most of the time in Batman stories are just kind of black and white evil?
I mean, like, I feel like that's the sandbox that I play in because, Harley Quinn was 100% that.
Mhm.
Kite Man, 100% that. So, like, that's kind of what I love doing. And honestly, like, I don't really think of them in terms of being heroes or villains. I know that's sort of classic superhero stuff, but to me they're just characters, and I think they're complex, and like everybody has uh sort of deep personal reasons for why they act the way they do, and it's like I think it's fun to explore that.
Yeah, when it's very fun for me because I am very loud about the difference between anti-heroes and villains.
Oh yeah.
Because in Marvel, my favorite one of my favorite characters is Wanda, and people are like, "That's a villain."
Right,
I'm like, no,
sure.
she's not. She's an anti-hero, and I feel the same way about Harley, where I'm like, she's not a villain. She's an anti-hero. She
Well,
just
you,
does.
you and I could talk about this for forever because I agree with you. And in fact, I forget that they're supposed to be villains, to tell you the truth. I'm like, the same was true of Kite Man. Like, and actually we put it into uh Poison Ivy. To me was like all she ever did was like she's just trying to save the environment. Why are we like, why is Ivy such a villain? We even put that in an episode or two, that point of view. So I'm just kind of like, I like the gray area.
Yeah. What I really like too in Creature Commandos, I love the dynamics that you get to kind of explore. Like in the first episode, we get to see Bride talking to Rick Flag Sr. and the two of them kind of having this like not like partnership, but they are kind of like looking to each other to kind of like get advice from one another. And that's so fun to kind of see when
Yeah.
you are working on a show like this that does give you the freedom to kind of change dynamics between characters and really explore kind of how they would work with one another. Do you have a favorite pairing that you really liked kind of seeing how those two characters would interact?
Well, I mean, there's a few. I love the Bride and Nina, because they're odd friends. To me, the Bride is sort of the point of view character for the show. I think of her kind of as, in a way, the protagonist, and Nina is the heart. And I think Nina allows you to see, kind of a more gentle, thoughtful version of the bride. So I love that pairing, and I also love Frankenstein and Flag together. I just think they're I think they're like really fun together, and yeah, it's like it's so enjoyable to pair up people that you wouldn't expect to see, uh, paired up.
Yeah. And for my last quick thing, I do have to say, I love Weasel, even though I'm like, yeah, he murdered a bunch of kids, but also he's never done a thing wrong in his life. Because I love that character. I think it's a funny design, both in live action and animated. And I just
Yes,
think it's funny to watch a weasel man be a weasel.
I
Um,
agree.
when you though, as a creative, are given a character that is, yes, a man, but also Weasel just talks like a weasel 90% of the time. So
Yeah.
you're like, it's still a weasel. Is that
Yes.
a challenge for you as a creative, or do you have way more fun with those kind of characters that you're like, I don't have to worry about what this thing thinks.
I
He's
mean,
just
it's
a
really
guy.
fun. I think everybody loved to animate Weasel because first of all, he's like he, he's like a dog, kind of. I mean, he just
Hands like this.
he does that. He licks himself. He's got the big eyes. They're just like everything about him is kind of fun. And Sean Gunn voiced him. And like, he's just like, I, I don't know how he does it. He voiced Weasel and GI Robot, which are very different characters, and he brought like enormous humanity to Weasel just with like noises because he doesn't talk. So
Mhm.
yeah, it was huge fun to work with him.
Yeah, Sean Gunn keeps getting me with these animal men because Rocket Raccoon's my favorite guardian. And then now
Uh,
we have this, I'm like, you gotta quit with the animal men
right.
because I'm
Yeah,
like, I love them.
he's great. I don't know how he does it. I was amazed at his take on GI Robot because I had no idea what what that was going to sound like. And he was amazing.
Yeah, I can't wait for everyone to get to see the show. I think it's so good. And thank you so much for talking with me today. I really appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Have a great day.